right, now we are going to experiment with 2-point perspective. So same materials, I'm using my HB pencil, ruler, and an eraser. I'm going to first draw my horizon line just like I did for my 1-point perspective. And I'm going to draw it in the middle of my paper. In 2-point perspective, instead of having one vanishing point, we have 2 vanishing points. Where 1-point perspective, your point is generally somewhere in the middle sometimes. 2-point, they're always kind of on the edges of the paper, or they sometimes even fall outside. But for the purpose of this, we're just going to put our 2 points on the edges of the paper on either side. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to see what it looks like when we draw in 2-point above, on, and below the horizon line. So starting with below. So rather than drawing our shape first like we did for 1-point, we're going to imagine that we're viewing like the corner of a building. So I'm going to just draw my vertical line first. So that is the corner of the building. Then I'm going to draw my orthogonal lines. So any from the top and the bottom. So again, I'm drawing really lightly. Anything on the left side is going to go towards the left vanishing point. Anything on the right side is going to go towards the right vanishing point. So then you can imagine, how big do you want your building? I'm going to draw my line here to cut it off, and my line here. And now we can imagine that anything on the left side of this line would go towards the vanishing point, and anything on the right side of this line would go towards the right vanishing point. And then there you can see the side of your building in 2-point perspective, and you can go back and erase those lines. Erase any of those orthogonal lines. All right, so now same as in 1-point perspective, when this is drawn below the horizon line, it appears to be viewing from above. Our vantage point as the viewer is above the building. Now let's try drawing one on the horizon line. I'm going to draw the corner of my building. I'm going to draw anything from this side reaching towards the left. Vanishing point. Anything from this side reaching towards the right vanishing point. And then I would cut off, ooh, that bell. Then I would cut off my shape, and from here, notice that anything from this line would actually go, we can imagine that our cube is transparent here, right? So we can see here what these lines would look like if the cube was transparent. Now, because we're looking at it straight on, we can't really see the top or bottom. So you can go in and erase those orthogonal lines. And I want to imagine this as a solid building that I cannot see through, so I'm going to erase any lines that are inside. but drawing it transparent helps you to kind of visualize how those vanishing points work, how those orthogonal lines work. Again, a smaller eraser sometimes is helpful, and you can always go back and redraw any lines so that it's more solid. Okay, so now when it's drawn on the horizon line, it appears that we're looking at the building directly. And you can imagine what it looks like when we draw from above. So let's start with our corner. And it doesn't really have to be a building. It could be any sort of object, a desk, a bed, the corner of a room, to draw in 2-point perspective. This time, I'm just gonna draw it as long as I want it. So I'm still reaching towards that vanishing point, but I know I just want it to be about that long. Same on this side. I know I want it to go there. And then I'm going to cut off my shape. So here, there are no horizontal lines except for your horizon line. All you have are vertical lines and then your orthogonal lines going towards those vanishing points. So I'm going to finish this shape. So from this side going all the way, from this side going all the way. Again, no true horizontal lines really. So drawn above equals viewing from below. So we're viewing this from below. Now you can imagine if the light is coming from above, maybe your darkest value is here. You can go in and add your values. You can use your tortillon to blend. Really thinking about light source, and how you can create form in perspective. So maybe I have another lighter value here. And you can go in and add value to each of your shapes, really thinking about where is the light source coming from. Now, if you wanted to add bricks or something, again, everything would have to be drawn in perspective. So here, I would draw just like I did in one point, anything from this left side going towards the left vanishing point. And then anything from the right side would be going towards the right vanishing point. And sometimes, especially in 2-point, it can look kind of skewed, but that's just how it would work, right? With the 2 vanishing points. Then you could go in and add your vertical lines. So you can imagine how you would add anything, a window, a door, anything you would draw would be in perspective. Again, if you wanted to make a cube transparent, you would just add those lines, but you can go in and add value however you want and experiment with the 2-point perspective.